Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session of NRAI's Insider's Guide to F&B, powered by Petpooja. I'm Gauri Devidyal, a Mumbai-based restaurateur and co-founder of the Food Matters Group, which includes restaurants such as The Table and Mag Street. I'm also the Joint Secretary at the NRAI and will be moderating the session today. To give you some background behind the NRAI Insider's Guide to F&B, powered by Petpooja, it is an exclusive 12 events series focusing on everything one needs to know about the various aspects of running F&B businesses and for what will hopefully help each one in becoming a pro restaurateur. As part of this series, NRAI will be conducting regular knowledge sessions. Please stay tuned on social media handles of NRAI for updates. Today's session is the eighth one in the series. I think it's fair to say that as restaurateurs, we all have guests who have dietary preferences such as gluten-free, vegan, sugar-free, etc. In order to appeal to a wider audience without deviating too much from the vision of the brand, today's session will explore ways in which healthier options can be incorporated into the menu offering. To share his insights on this subject, our speaker today is Sudarshan Gangrade, founder of Bajo Foods. Sudarshan has experience in successfully creating and running companies in the FMCG packaged health foods like Low Foods and in the health fitness space with Lean Science. He has a wide breadth of experience in general management and specific expertise in marketing and analytics, and has been part of India's startup e-commerce ecosystem from the early days. He built from the ground up one of the most recognized and valued e-commerce brands in India, Ola. He is among the earliest pioneers of analytics in India. So it's a true privilege to have you with us today. Sudarshan will be taking up questions after he's done with his presentation. So please feel free to write your questions in the comments section throughout the session, and we'll be sure to take them up at the end. Over to you, Sudarshan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me over, Gauri, and the team at Petpooja and NRAI. I'm delighted to be part of this forum and this knowledge series. I'll be making a short presentation. I'll just present the same. So then everyone can look at that as an option. So I hope it's visible now.
Yes.
Super. So, quick introduction. My name is Sudarshan, and I'm the founder of a set of low carb health focused food brands in India. We have four different brands. One is called Low Foods, which specializes in the low carb space. One is ATH, which specializes in ATH, all things healthy, which specializes in low calorie along with low carb, high protein, all of that. And we've got Protein Chef, which specializes in high protein menu, and then Smart, which specializes in diabetic menu. So, as you can see, we cover a multiple plethora of specific dietary preferences and medical conditions, and which is why we've specifically focused and built a brand around that. So, as part of that entire process, there are a lot of hacks, so to speak, which can through which you, even if you're running a regular restaurant or a brand which is not in the health space, but you can offer a lot more offerings. The way we do it is that we are an end-to-end integrated company. So we have built our own flours. There's a protein flour, there's a keto flour, low carb flour, diabetic flour, and all the products of ours are powered by the same flour. So we, in that sense, integrate end to end. But today's presentation is more focused around what is available in the market and what are the easy ways in which you can add options. We offer all kinds of food cuisines, right from rolls to sandwiches to bowls to parathas, and we are the largest low carb cloud kitchen company in India now, across pan India. So the big question is why should you as a restaurateur get into health foods or start offering health foods? Now, there are various studies that are there. Suffice to say, the conditions in India are very, very large, the health conditions. And I'm not talking about the generic healthier ones. So like Gauri spoke about, there is, of course, vegan, gluten-free, all of them. While there's a lot of conversations around them, But truly, the larger market today in terms of consumption is actually sitting in the weight loss space, in the protein space, and in the diabetes and fiber space. So, and the reason that is the case is because the audiences here are very, very large. India has 110 million diabetics, 100 million plus obese male and female. 80%, 70% of Indian vegetarians are protein deficient. So the problem statements here are very large. So while there are, of course, the other trends that are there, but they're still growing. But today we have these large problem statements, and across the board, the it's very clear that we are looking to hit about $30 billion from a health focused F&B market, and this is a very recent study published a couple of weeks back. So this is something that is there, and today, I mean, you look at any of these trends, when you start talking about 100 million, 200 million, you're talking about literally, if a group of people are coming in, two people at least out of them are into one of these. Now, they may be coming to a restaurant to indulge and to socialize, but having said that, it doesn't take away the fact that that is on their mind. And if as a restaurant you can offer something, that's something which they would appreciate and they would want to explore as well. I mean, just to give you a sense, 1 in 4 consumers over 45 is diabetic. So, I mean, anyone who's coming, if you have a fine dining restaurant, if you have they would be the high chances that somebody walking in who's middle aged or older is diabetic. Which is why you need to start offering that, because that builds stickiness, that you can charge a premium for it, and overall that just makes your restaurant sound something that customers connect with more. So obviously we integrated end to end, but that's because that's our business line. But as a regular restaurant, whatever be your cuisine, but in case you are looking to have a health menu added, so that at least some of these you can tap into, there are some very easy, literally plug and play products available in the market now, and that's what I want to talk about, so that we can cover everything from breads to Indian bread starters, all the sections. And I'm only covering a few right now. Obviously, the universe is much larger, but that will give you a sense that there are actually very easy to use options available. That's really the true purpose of this presentation. And from there, hopefully, you will be able to figure out your own solution for your own restaurant brand. So let's start with the breads, the Indian breads, right? Atta, roti, paratha, all of that. You may have heard about gluten-free and others, but the key problem usually that you would face is you have to have you don't want to carry separate attas for all of that, right? I think there is inventory issue, there's wastage issue, and all of others. But did you know that there are actually mixes available now in the market for various types of health benefits? So there is actually a high protein mix, so that if you add a spoon of, I mean, it's as simple as in the regular flour, you just add 1 spoon or whatever be the ratio, and the dough becomes healthy. So it could be a high protein dough, or it could be a diabetic dough, or it could be a millet dough, and it's just as simple as that. You add 1 spoon of it. You have multiple brands, multiple types. I've just showcased a few here. Protein Chef, which is one of our products, but you have Diabetes Smart for diabetic, you have Ashirvad for millet. All of them are offering this, so you don't need to carry separate different products. You can pretty much work with whatever be your cuisine, you can use that particular mix, and that's about it. And these are usually very versatile. So we make a whole plethora of products from this, and very versatile, easy to use. It is compatible with most Indian breads, and in fact even with tandoor versions. Not the fiber, but the other protein and millet works on the tandoor side as well. They've been engineered to have minimal change in taste. They're very heat stable, so they retain the health properties that they've been talking about. The good part is there is really no separate training required for you. You just need to, whenever an order comes, you just put that and create a dough and then and there. So you don't need to train separately your staff to be able to work with this kind of flour. It's really no different from what you're already using. This process is the same. Water quantities may change, but that's about it. You don't need to carry separate inventories, all of that. And there are actually restaurants that are already doing it. I mean, I'm just showing you some examples so you know that this is not theory, but this is today already being done. So you can see here a high protein paratha and roti being offered. And that's something which then automatically you can charge a premium around also, but it more importantly caters to a specific audience. Then, of course, if you want to go even more broader, then there are specialized attas, and this all of you would have heard about, right? Multigrain attas, gluten-free atta, all of that. So, low carb, keto, high protein. So, All of these are also available in atta format, so you can use the atta as it is. But like I said, some people prefer to use the mix, so that the inventory costs, shelf life, all of that is far better there. Or you could use it here. These are all usually completely natural, made from natural ingredients, so there is no preservatives, no issues with in terms of chemicals or otherwise. This is just concentrated forms of your specific ingredients. So that's one way to handle the Indian breads, roti, paratha. Then you have another option. So in case you offer sandwiches, right, in the menu, or there's a very easy way. So today, whatever be your sandwich that's there, um, all you need to do is you can replace the bread. That's it. That's it. Really, literally, that's it. So there are multiple types of breads available in the market today. There's protein breads, there's superfoods breads, there is low carb breads, diabetic breads, gluten free breads also. Uh, all you need to do is just replace the bread with that, and automatically you can make that health claim. And again, there are some examples of not just us, but some of the largest chains in India which are already doing this. And it's literally as simple as that. There is this high protein bread. You can just take that. One slice of that is equal to one egg worth of protein, vegetarian, right? So suddenly you can offer a 25-gram protein sandwich, which for a lot of people walking in is something, especially if they're in the whole snacking zone and they are in the health zone, high chance that they're looking for a protein solution. And if you can offer a low carb, high protein solution, they would absolutely lap it up. And I can tell from my experience that our high protein sandwiches are some of the largest selling products. And really the fillings, grilling process, everything remains the same. The sizes may vary, but that's something which you can adjust and work with. So we spoke about Indian breads. We spoke about sandwiches. Literally, just replace and you can build out a sandwich range. The other interesting thing is, for all of this, it's not that you need to rework the menu, rework the menu card, or whatever. I mean, you just need to have a tabletop which just says high protein options available, or gluten free options available, or diabetic friendly options available. That's it. So it's just a tabletop, that says these options are available. Ask your chef for more, and that's really as simple as that. The other interesting thing again is low GI rice bowls. So again, very simple mix, just tweaking things. So bowls, as you would know, bowls are among the most popular dishes on Swiggy and Zomato both. So obviously you want to dip into that. Now, there is of course the regular bowls that are there, but in case you want to just create a healthier version of this, usually what do people do today? They're playing around with the gravies, right? So they'll play around with whatever different types of butter chicken gravy, or they'll have a paneer gravy, or they'll have a suprodon. I mean, multiple options that they are doing. But what if, while you are focusing on the protein and the gravy part, what if you made the rice also healthier? That's as simple as that. And today you have a lot of low GI rice available. And low GI rice, by the way, is not just for diabetics. The good part is today the awareness about cutting down carbohydrates, cutting down sugar is so high that even a regular health person who would otherwise not choose a bowl, when he sees a low GI rice bowl option, they would take that. And here again, the rice behaves exactly like a regular steamed rice. A little bit changes here and there, but that's about it. So this, then you can start offering low GI rice bowls, and suddenly your menu expands, your customer segment expands significantly. And it's just as much as, okay, instead of this rice, you use a different rice. That's about it. No change in terms of your process or anything else. And this is something which a lot of you might be hearing about and maybe even tried it. But there are now proteins beyond meat and paneer, right? Uh, there is actually plant-based mock meats that are available. Now, who would this be for? This is for the person who wants a non-vegetarian but who doesn't want to eat non-vegetarian or has quit non-vegetarian food. The thing is, today the technology has advanced so much. In fact, I had done a post on the entire tech that goes behind how they match the taste texture of meat. It's just brilliant, and it's a global phenomena, and it's far superior to the traditional soya chunks that we've been used to. So, lot of very good options available, and they span everything, right, from starters to the main course to gravies. So. Ton of brands there, ton of products available, ton of flavors available, and you can again dip into multiple health segments. And it is not just people who are vegan or vegetarians. So today, if anyone vegetarian coming in here, right? I mean, they just have paneer as the protein option for them, right? But today, these can start to offer a vegetarian protein option for them as well. So they would appreciate that. Some of them would want to try that as well. Again, these are all frozen, so they have a strong shelf life. So wastages are also very minimal here. So, like I said, just replace everything else remains the same. You can work with existing gravies, or in your gravies, just replace the protein with this, and that's about it. The texture is far superior to what they were earlier. The other thing that you may all be hearing about is macrobiotics, gut friendly, gut, all of that, right? And the big one that is running today is kombucha. And kombucha, interesting thing is it's now part of a lot of bars as well as a standalone drink by itself. Because of course it's probiotic, but importantly it has a very unique taste profile and a fizz to it. So if you want to in your beverage section you want to offer a gut friendly option, kombucha becomes an interesting standalone option, available in various flavors and formats. One recommendation here would be look for a kombucha that is locally bottled, and is not pasteurized, because the moment you pasteurize the kombucha, it pretty much kills all the probiotics. So, in case you want to offer a option, please look for a non-pasteurized kombucha. But again, like I said, it's very easy. In fact, today you have powders that you can add to your existing cocktails or anything else. So if you want to work with that. So gut friendly is a huge trend right now, especially in the last 1.5 years. It's really picked up big time from a beverages perspective. And it would be, you would be able to capture a lot of market here and a lot of interesting products here as customers here as well. Sweeteners. Now, this is a bugbear for everyone because everyone's tried sweeteners, and most of the people will not want the sweeteners there, and you would typically work with jaggery or other products in case you have an alternative. The issue is that the body still processes jaggery as if it is sugar. So while it is little better, but if you really want to offer something which is for customers, then you want to work with non-jaggery, non-date-based products. And here there are a couple of interesting. These are very very new products that are coming in. There's something called FOS, fructooligosaccharides. This is actually made from plant fiber. So it serves as both fiber and it is also very lightly sweetened in taste. So it actually has a light, nice flavor to it. And it can be added in conjunction with another sweetener so that your overall flavor profile actually is very, very manageable and something that customers would not have a problem with. So this is an interesting mix that you can bring in case you want to work with non-sugar options. The other, as you may be hearing about, is stevia. Of course, has been there, but stevia has a very strong taste profile. Today, there are monk fruit is right now the probably the hottest sweetener that's running in the West right now, and we are now seeing in India a lot more supply coming in steadily. There's a lot of supply issues earlier. So monk fruit has a far superior taste profile. The aftertaste, all of that is far better. And in fact, there are now monk fruit and stevia blends also that are available that kind of work well with with a variety of different beverages and desserts as well. So the good part is if you look at most of your traditional sweeteners, I mean, apart from the aftertaste, if you look at the ingredients, you will see that they either have, and I'm talking about all the major brands, they'll either have aspartame or dextrose or maltodextrin. So these are not good ingredients to have. So what you have now are far more natural in nature, and now with the introduction of FOS and monk fruit, the taste profile has also improved significantly. Sorry. And then, of course, ice creams, desserts. This is everyone's. This is very common. I'm sure a lot of you are already having it. So I'll not speak much about it. But this is again a very easy to offer, healthier alternative. Shelf life, all of those are taken care of, and multiple mainstream brands are also offering it. And of course, you have specialized brands also offering it. You have everything from sugar free to low calorie to high protein ice cream. So and the taste profiles are fantastic. So obviously there will be some difference, but today I think the brands are just getting better and better and better every day to provide a very very close alternative. So this is another quick fix to be able to bring that in. And then finally, I've spoken about a few which are more new and new age. The rest, all of these, I'm sure you already have heard about. So, which is why I've deliberately not covered them in too much detail. But usually, the other key health trends revolve around all of these. So, sugar free, we spoke about. Vegan is one big piece. Gluten free is another big piece. Sugar free chocolates and compounds are now available by the large manufacturers and specialized manufacturers as well. And then you have millet, of course. So there's a whole plethora of products that are being built. Interestingly, a millet dosa is now becoming a lot more acceptable, and we see that demand on both Swiggy and Zomato as well. So as much as it's different from a regular one, but there are enough people who are just saying, okay, if that's available, I don't mind having that with my regular chutney and sambar. And of course, baked also has a very strong connotation. Roasted has a very strong connotation. So these are other common health options that you can always have that kind of land in that place. So that's pretty much it. The whole idea of this, like I said at the starting, is uh, the health customer is coming. I mean, if you're you may be, whatever be your restaurant, you may believe that they're coming here for indulgence, they're coming here for a experience, for social. Yes, they are doing that, but they also are looking at if there are any healthier alternatives that are available. Now, all of them may not choose that, but there are significant of them who will choose that. And even if they don't choose it, but they will remember you as a brand that's also has that offering. And that word of mouth is strong because today there are people, everyone who sits and eats together at a table, inevitably there is some conversation around health foods and this is bad. I read that this was not good. This ye khane se acha hota hai, and so on and so forth. So which is why I'm exhorting everyone that please start offering health options. It is a tangible improvement in terms of your profitability. I mean, not it may not double or triple your business, but it builds stickiness over a period of time and brand recall. And all the solutions that I've spoken about deliberately are such that you can literally go overnight live with all of them. You can literally go live tomorrow with all of these solutions, be it high protein breads or high protein roti, sabji, or diabetic friendly roti, or high, non meat gravies, sandwiches, desserts, beverages, and so much more. So the options are there, and I think it would really help your business as well and profitability to work with some of these products. Thank you.
Thanks, Sudarshan. That was interesting. So I know there's a couple of questions here, and I have a bunch of questions too. So I think one of the ones that even I had was, can you talk about how this impacts cost, food cost, and switching to these alternatives? And the second part of that is taste, because I have read, like for example, even about millets. There is sometimes taste sort of preference for regular wheat, etc. So Ankit Sharma has brought up these 2 points, and I have similar questions. So if you can address that.
Sure. I'll address the second question first. So, like I said, um, the taste. So there is going to be some difference in taste and texture. But the point I'm trying to talk about is that today the products are far more advanced than they were, say, 2 years back. The brands that have been working to build out these products have become far more sophisticated. The taste and texture are far more improved, and somewhere the customer actually expects a difference as well. So if you were to provide a millet dosa or for example, since you brought it up, they would expect a little more fibrousness to their dosa, and they're okay with it. In fact, if you don't see that, they'll probably be wondering, is this really healthy and high on fiber? Similarly, if they are trying out any other product, be it diabetic friendly or be it high protein, they are okay with some change, but they are not okay with a large change in taste and texture. And today, these products are actually fairly able to deliver on that. And like I said, the whole thing is we are not expecting all the customers to convert, right? I mean, you're talking about a few of the consumers who would remember you for this and would also try these products out. And over a period of time, that builds stickiness and brand recall. Sorry, the first question was around cost, right? So, in terms of cost, see, we've covered multiple categories. So usually, it's very difficult to uh, um, span all of them. But the cost structures would change. Obviously, these are more healthier options, but you can play around with the cost structures in multiple ways. For example, I spoke about the mix for atta, right? Now, it could add say 1.5 2 rupees also. It could add 4 to 5 rupees also, depending on how much are you adding and what's the claim you're making. But usually, I think 1.5 2 rupees is what you can easily be able to manage it with. And then what you're talking about is a significant premium that you can charge on top of it. So it more than compensates for the cost increase that you're talking about.
And then Ankit had another question, which is specifically about brands that are available in the Delhi area for high protein bread. Is that something? Do you all supply Pan India, and there are other brands as well?
So I mean, we have a high protein bread, and which is used by a lot of B2B manufacturers as well, and we are available across the NCR, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai. The brand is Protein Chef, but there are other high protein brands as well, bread brands, but usually the size of them are more built for individual consumer households. Since we run the cloud kitchen, so our size is built more for kitchens, and hence. We built it out in that fashion. But on the high protein side, these are very interesting products, and the and shelf life is a little, usually 1 day lesser, but taste wise and texture wise, extremely good.
And Sudarshan, there's when it comes to plant-based meats, which you touched upon earlier as well. I mean, I know cost is one prohibitive factor, but there's also concern about like the chemical component of these products, right? To make them so similar to meat products. So, can you address that? Is that something that are there any concerns around that? Should there be any concerns around that, or is this sort of regulated enough that it can be
No,
used
so
freely
actually,
in restaurants?
sure. So I mean, if you study the process of the way they match the taste and texture, it's usually through mechanical and thermal manners, not through chemical manner. So which means that there is extrusion involved, there is a thermal, obviously heat treatment and otherwise. So what usually happens is it's usually mechanical methods through which they are matching the taste and texture, and they have special machines that will do that part. Of course, there are, as with any other packaged food products, there may be some processing involved. But like I said today, because remember, these are brands that are going directly after consumers. And the consumers that they are talking to are extremely evolved. They are very finicky about what goes into their stomach. I mean, this audience, when you're talking about vegan and mock meat based audience, they are already very evolved. And these are brands usually that are already directly talking to them. So in terms of the composition, the ingredients, usually they've sorted that part out. That's why I said, I have seen the last 1.5 years the products that are there and what goes into the products and the has changed quite a bit compared to what when we started off 3 years back, and which is why we had to build out everything from scratch, and we built out literally everything ourselves. But today I see a lot more options that are available off the shelf for the F&B industry as well.
There's a question from Pranav Rungta. In Indian food, is there an option to use or to replace or substitute for fats like oil, ghee, cream without compromising on taste?
So, if you look at the what has changed, right? I mean, in the last 5 years, I mean, you would have seen that ghee butter was considered evil, egg yellows were considered evil. Today, they are considered the best form of fats, right? The entire theory has changed, literally turned on its head. So, people prefer saturated fats. Why? Because it does not oxidize in the body, and which is why, unlike unsaturated fats, which because they're unsaturated bonds, so they get oxidized, and that's what creates oxidation in your blood. And then you talk about antioxidants and all that, right? But the core thing is that today refined oils and vegetable oils that use unsaturated vegetable oils have that core problem statement. So um, if you're looking to reduce the overall calories in general, that's a different question. But if you're talking about where you want to replace the saturated fats, you spoke about ghee, you spoke about butter, cream. That's really that ship has sailed. So that's really not something which is there. In terms of alternatives for just overall bringing down the fats, um, we've seen cooking techniques also. Today there are specific equipments also that can help you just be able to build products, or offer give offerings where the amount of oil consumed is much lesser, or the amount of oil absorbed by the product is much lesser, which means your overall calorific intake goes down. But again, as a regular restaurant, you may or may not be able to work with that. You can certainly offer low calorie options, and that's where usually fiber based options come into play. I spoke about FOS. That is something which is a low calorie option. It cuts down the calories because the body does not process it; it passes through as a fiber. So compared to a sugar, it's a far superior calorie. It's a lower calorie product. I don't know if I answered the question completely.
Are you referring to things like air fryers and things as a way of
Some
using
of that
different?
also, yes, some of that also, because that's where the absorption comes, become, and the technique cooking. So that's what I meant. There are cooking techniques, and then there are ways in which you can have the product absorb lesser. So there are those options available, but again, depends on the restaurant that you have, because those usually, I did not talk about them because then they involve usually significantly reworking your menu, the preparation process, and all of that. Which is why today's session, my focus has been just plug and play products, because something that you can literally start tomorrow with. Otherwise, of course, like you rightly said, there are enough and more options available to truly build out healthier, low calorie, low fat options, but usually involves significant reworking of the menu, preparation process, and the dish.
Sorry, there's some feedback shared by Gautam Dandekar, which is saying that the premium pricing is not making it of mass appeal, and maybe reducing prices will see more momentum. And given the costs of wheat and millet are roughly the same, maybe not to charge the premium, I guess is the point. Um, the
You'll be surprised on. So while you're talking about a 40 to 50 rupees and wheat is at 40 rupees per kg, right? Today you will see some options that are available on the B2B side for 80 to 90 rupees. So yes, it is double the cost, but I mean, when you look at a 20-gram roti, or or a 30-gram paratha, the costs that you're talking about are significantly lesser. That's why I mentioned one and a half, 2 rupees. But what you can charge is usually about at least 15 rupees to 20 rupees more. So you can easily recover that. And your point is right that today, because these are new products, it's just been 1.5, 2 years since they have become more and more mainstream. It's a matter of time before they become even lower in cost. Brands like ours are definitely working towards it. But having said that, it is something that you can introduce, because again, the idea is that right now we are trying to address the initial set of people. But like you rightly said, as we reduce price and make it more mainstream, more and more people will start adopting it.
In fact, he's mentioned that due to high fiber, less millets are required to make a millet idli dosa. So
Yeah,
that
true.
could be
That's a brilliant point, actually.
There's a question from Piyush Kankaria that data says 3% of users using online delivery platforms search for healthy food in a city like Bangalore, and only 0.3% in a city like Calcutta. Does it make business sense to invest in costlier, healthy raw materials and sell it to a really niche or limited customer base?
Yeah, great question. We have this question to ourselves all the time, and two answer responses here. One is, if you're a dedicated health focused brand like ours, that 3% is very large, very very large. Uh, you're talking about a brand even with 3% can build out a tens of crores per month revenue brand. So it's not a trivial number by any standards. Second, we are talking about people who, again, speaking about restaurants that already have a running business, who want to introduce a healthier option as well. So here you're not talking about launching. I mean, there the business economics is very different if you're launching a full-fledged health food brand, and I can talk about that separately. But today it is about mainstream brands and what are the easy ways to start offering other options, which your consumers will pick it up, whoever is willing to pay that premium. And there is I mean, it's not like I said at the start, it's not meant to take over your entire business unless you launch a health food brand like ours. But within your existing menu, there will be extra business that you can generate here.
I think just to add on to this question, though, practically, from a very like back end perspective of having mise en place, is this something that you're going to, then have to have available? Not all things can be made a la minute, in terms of, like whether it's doughs or how easy is it to use these products where you're not, just creating mise en place, which then doesn't get used because those customers don't walk in.
Sure. No, that's a great point, and that I think, initial days you will have to do a hit and trial to see how you will manage and what's the kind of conversions that you have. But once you get a sense, like I said, these are all plug and play products. They don't involve anything different. So yes, a certain part of your misa will end up maybe having these doughs as an example, or these specific gravies, proteins that are there. But you can adjust the quantities, and they work on the same principles as your other ingredients. So you have to plan your production, you have to plan your storage and inventory any which ways. It's like no other ingredient, any other ingredient of yours.
And you mentioned rice, in the rice bowls, for example. Um, is there a difference in flavor, or is it really, you can't tell the difference?
it's uh, it's very minimal. So in fact, there are multiple logia rice available. So there's a specific strain that the Telangana University has launched, and that's used by a lot of brands today. That actually is it's a Sona Masuri rice, and it actually comes out pretty close to the original. Again, there will be some differences, but having said that, it's a very minimal change, and people are will be just pleasantly surprised that there's a low GI rice bowl also available.
So why do you think there isn't a wider adoption of these products?
Sorry, I'll give you an example. We never carried rice bowls, and that's why I'm saying this is all very recent in terms of products. Because we are in the low carb business, so we will never touch rice, steamed rice. But we've just launched this, and I mean, it's just taken off because bowls is huge on Swiggy and Zomato. So a healthier bowl option is always something that will find its takers.
Sorry, we lost you in the middle, Sudarshan. You mentioned we heard you saying that you haven't adopted it, but
Oh, sorry. So we had not adopted it earlier, but very recently we started it, and it's really taken off in a big manner because the bowls, for example, a huge demand for bowls, and then within that there is a sub-segment that's looking for healthier options. If it starts to surface, there are enough people who will do it. In fact, bowls, I think within 3 months of launch, it is among our top 10% SKUs. So the low GI rice bowl. So it is not a insignificant size of audience is all I can tell you right now.
if it is so very similar in flavor profile, why is there not a wider adoption of this product?
I think because it's so new, like I said, this particular strain of rice, while it's so developed, but it's only over the last 1.5 years that started to get more and more mainstream. There are, of course, other low GI rices available, but like I said, these are all, the monk fruit sweetener. It's literally a few months old in terms of having a steady supply chain. So we are talking about very new products, and that's why, since we are in the business, that's why I spoke about what is really the latest and greatest. Which, given that we operate such a so many kitchens, we've seen that this has very strong adaptability among consumers, and that's the reason why earlier it may not have worked at all, and maybe it's a matter of time before biryani start getting made with this and so on and so forth. So, but I believe it's just a matter of time. Uh, if you can have mock meat and you can have so many variants of mock meat, everyone's got all kinds of things. Low GI rice and rice based dishes are it's an absolute no brainer.
And what about things like lower salt, etc.? Because that's another factor that is something that people are quite conscious of. Is that something that can be uh, incorporated with like alternatives?
Usually that is, as it's called in Hindi, swad anusar. So, people will ask what they want, if they want lower salt or otherwise. But today it is so, I mean, it's just about asking the chef. I mean, in a restaurant, that's the idea. So it's not, in my opinion, a differentiating factor where you can build a brand and differentiate yourself. It's a hygiene today. So if someone says, I want lesser salt or lesser spice, I mean, you are expected to give that. I don't think it's a claim that you can differentiate or build a brand on.
And when you, since I mean, marketing is something that you also specialize in, like, Is this something that then you recommend that restaurants actually promote this aspect, through like their social media, etc., or is it more just for when diners come to the restaurant to know that there is an alternative?
I think it's purely depends on the brand, but any brand today, consumers are more evolved, right? So they are expecting the brand to be more humane, brand to be more conscious, brand to be more quality conscious, and deliver better products for their customers. So talking about it, I think is good, but like I said, if you're not an out and out health restaurant, then I think you should talk about it, make sure consumers know about it. But I think most of your conversions will come at the point of sale, which is when they're sitting down at the table and then they see a tabletop that says, oh, you know what, I have a low GI rice, a low GI option available, or I have a high protein roti option available, or I have a diabetic paratha available. You will see most of the conversions happening literally there. Uh, and that's where, like I said, stickiness and repeat behavior builds out.
Great. I think we've covered all the questions. If anyone has any final thoughts or questions, please feel free to add them in the comments section. But Sudarshan, thank you so much. This was really helpful and very informative. And for those who missed the presentation or would like to refer to it later, it will be available on the NRAI website. It'll be available to download, and there will be contact details for Sudarshan's team. So feel free to reach out to them with any questions you might have. And do follow the NRAI's Instagram page to find out about future sessions for the guide to F&B. And yeah, stay tuned, and thank you for attending today, and have a great day. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sudarshan.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.